So now we're recording the session, and good morning, everybody, formally, and welcome to the revision session today. Um, Today is, I suppose it's in three separate parts, just that you know what we're going to do today. So the first half hour or so is an introduction by myself, where I'll just go through the process now over the next week and what's going to happen. Just that there's no surprises for anybody. I think that's the important part so that you know exactly what to expect and what to do. So that is number one. That is my introduction. And I'll give you some pointers for the exams and success and all that good stuff as well. Then I will hand you over to Paul Daly, who is here. And Paul will go through the credit management subject with you. So he will be looking at the mock exam and just to give you the heads up in terms of the standard of answers that we're looking for. And you might even be nice and give them some pointers for the real exam. So listen very carefully and check back on the links because I'll be sending everybody the links to this recording later today. Now it takes time to build and to convert and do all that good stuff. So I'm hoping to get it out early afternoon. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. That's the way technology is. But I will definitely get it out to you anyway over the weekend. So that is that. And then we're going to take a break from about 11:15 to 11:30. And then Angelina will be joining us and we go through the one that you're all panicking about, which is the risk subject. So that's that. And look, what we want to do today, I suppose, is build your confidence and just to look, we all hate exams. That's a given. We all hate exams, and even we who set and correct exams hate exams. Um, the fact of the matter is that when you have completed this process, you will be receiving a diploma from hopefully both CMII, which is the Credit Management Institute of Ireland, and AICDP, which is the Association of International Credit Directors and Professionals. And I suppose we have to make sure that you're worthy of a diploma. That's it. And the only way we know that you have covered the material and done it is by sitting an exam. So if we can come up with a better system, we will. For the moment, we're kind of stuck with it. So this day week is the exam. So it's the 25th. And just to let you know what's going to happen next Saturday. What is going to happen next Saturday is at 10 to 10. So we give you 10 minutes grace. So the risk exam is set to start at 10 a.m. next Saturday. And what I will do is I will send that exam to all of you at 10 to 10. So I'll give you 10 minutes just to read the paper, to go through it, and to relax. Is that okay? And I ask you in the email, and I ask lots of things in emails, and you wonder about communications. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. If you could just acknowledge receipt and even just got it, or I'm here, or thank you, because I'm sending these out into the ether, and I don't know whether anybody's even getting them or seeing them or whatever. So if you just make sure that when you get the paper, just acknowledge. Now, look, it's not the end of the world if you don't. It helps me to relax if I know I've sent out the papers and everybody's got them and they're working on them. And it helps us in the process. So if you could do that, that would be great. And then you sit down and you do. So the risk exam is first, and you have 2 hours to do the risk exam. And you have all seen the mock paper, and Angelina will be going through it with you later. Um, what is paramount for the risk exam is time management. Okay? Time management is your key to risk. So there are 4 questions to be answered on the paper. There's question one and question two. And and you'll know even better today, that the format that you got in the mock exam, the real exam will be in exactly the same format. So question one will be to prepare a P&L account. Question two will be analysing the ratios. And you have to answer both those questions. And then you have to answer two from, I don't know if it's, I think it's six. There's 6 questions that you get to pick two out of those things to answer. And if you look at the marks, because the purpose of an exam is to maximize your marks. So The exam for historic reasons is marked out of 140 because we like even numbers. And the reason it's marked out of 140 is that you have got 10% for your short tests, 20% for your assignments, so that leaves 70% for the exam. So just to give us a bit of wiggle room in correcting, we mark the exam out of 140. So you get 50 marks for the first question, you get 50 marks for the second question, and you get 20 marks for each of the shorter questions. So on that basis, can you allocate your time accordingly? So give 40 minutes to question one on the P&L account, 40 minutes to question two, and then 20 minutes each for the shorter questions. Okay. I have seen it in the past where and one I will never forget. And it was in the old days when we had physical exam halls. And if you think the nerves are bad here, you'd want to have been sitting in an exam hall on a Saturday morning. Um, and I literally saw somebody who couldn't get the balance sheet to balance and spent nearly 2 hours trying to do it. And you know, like at the end of the day, you have most of the marks. If the balance sheet doesn't balance, and I'll tell you now, it probably won't, not to worry about it. You will get marks for everything that you did correctly. So if you have all the figures in the right place, then you will get marks for everything that you have right. Is that okay? If you get a number wrong, then you won't get any marks for that. There's no negative marking here in the exam. Okay. And so once you get to your 40 minutes for your P&L account, whatever stage it's at, stop, set your alarm clock, stop, move on to question two and get as many marks as you can on that. Then your 40 minutes is up, move on to question, pick one of the other two questions that you find easiest and then go and do those. Is that okay? And then if you time at the end, go back and the perfectionist in you that wants to balance the balance sheet, yeah, you can do that then. But as long as you have the figures, in the right order and the right format, you will get most of the marks. All right. So just watch your time management. And then so you will get the paper at 10 to 10. You start on it straight away. And whichever order you want to do the questions, if you want to do question two first and question one, that's fine. If you want to, it's probably easier for risk because the paper will arrive in an Excel spreadsheet. So it's probably easier if you use the spreadsheet for your answers, so you can just copy and paste the numbers across and just make sure that you put them in the right order. So, in terms of how you do it, it's probably best to do it in the Excel spreadsheet. Um, that's how you actually do it and submit it is up to you. The only thing that we do ask is that 12 o'clock on the dot is the cut-off period. So make sure you have the paper back to me by 12 o'clock. All right. And just all you have to do is so I will supply you with the thing. And look, if you are opening the spreadsheet on the exam paper, what tends to happen is it's a temporary file on your system. Will you just make sure you save it as you go? Save it onto your own laptop and save it as you go because the panics, it's bad enough worrying about risk, but if system errors go or you lose the file or the power goes or something happens, it just adds to the stress levels. So do save your work as you go and then submit it by 12 o'clock. And that's that. And then we'll have a break for an hour from 12 to 1. And then at 1 o'clock. And what we'll do again is the same thing. So at 10 to 1, I will send you the first part of the credit management paper. And the first part of the credit management paper is a multiple choice questions. So in exactly the same way as in the mock, there are 50 questions. Now they won't be the same questions, obviously. There might be some overlap, Paul. I think there's a bit, but not all that much. So it's the multiple choice questions, and you answer those, and then those multiple choice questions have to be submitted to me before 2 o'clock. Okay. So that is that. Now, the one thing that I would strongly advise you at this stage, look, we know number one, you're at home. We know number two, you have the notes in front of you. So that is fine. This is not a memory test. This is, to check your understanding of it. You know, if you're relying on the notes to do the multiple choice questions, you are going to put your stress levels up through the roof. Okay? Because you've only 1 minute to do each question. And by the time you get the question, get the notes, find the section, find the answer. So what I would say to you is, look, go through the 50 questions and answer all the ones that you can. Hopefully you'll know some of them. And here's the things, guys, you don't have to know them all. Like the pass mark in the exam is 40%. So in order to pass the multiple choice element, you only have to get 20 of them right. So come on, I want you to relax here. This is not as hard as you think it's going to be. So you only have to get 20 of them right in order to pass the exam. If you get 30 right, you're into merit territory. And if you get over 40, then you're in distinction territory. So, that's what it is. So you don't, I see people want to be perfections and want to get 100%. Whether you get that's up to yourself. So just relax, do them. And then obviously if you want to check other answers if you have time. Now, the incentive for you in getting the multiple choice questions back to me sooner is that as soon as you email me your multiple choice questions, I will acknowledge receipt of the answer and I will attach the paper with the long questions on it to you. So if you get the multiple choice questions to me 10 or 15 minutes early, then you have an extra 10 or 15 minutes to do the long questions. Is that okay? So rather than just sitting there looking at it, get them back to me. I will be at the desk. And so as soon as the emails come in, now sometimes five come in together, so it might take me a couple of minutes to reply and attach the file. But literally, it's only a few minutes, so it'll be fairly instant. I will be sitting at the desk for the whole morning. So, and if you have any questions or queries or whatever, now I'm not going to do the exam for you. I will answer sort of any structural questions that you have or whatever. So just to put your minds at rest that I am here, and I am contactable. So if there's any issues or, an email goes down, you want me to send it to a different email, just rest assured that I am here at the desk on the day and that's that. So when you send me in your multiple choice questions for the credit management, I will then reply and attach the long questions, and then that exam paper, your two long questions have to be submitted by 3 o'clock. So that is that. Okay. So, and just if you keep in that format and minimize the distractions as much as you can, which is kind of important, and just get a quiet place and it is doable if you manage, and the purpose of today as well is to make sure that that you're relaxed as you possibly can be, that you know what to expect on the day, and then you just come in and go through it in a logical order. That is that. So, for the group that's here, I suppose the group is split 50-50. So half of you, these are your final two exams. Okay, so you have already done the lower international and collections, and these are your final two exams. So if for that group who are doing their fourth exams, that is the end of the diploma. And what we'll be doing is we'll be inviting you to the graduation ceremony that takes place on the 19th of March in the Royal Marine Hotel in Dunleary. Beautiful hotel overlooking the bay. And it is very commutable and parking and all that kind of stuff. So at 7 o'clock on the 19th, we'll have a graduation. We'll have the heads from the Institute and the Association of Credit Directors presenting you with your diplomas and photographs and wine and all that good stuff. So it'll be a nice evening, and just to record your achievements. For the other half of the group, we will be back for part two of the diploma, and that is now on the 15th of February. So you'll have a couple of weeks break now after the exam, and then we're back into the second set of subjects on the 15th of February. And we'll be in touch with you about inductions and all that good stuff as well. So that is that. Um, if there's a disaster and something happens and you can't make it next Saturday, you know, there's no sort of formal process for it. We will work with you. Is that okay? We're human, and that's what it's all about. So look, if there is an issue, just stay in touch with us. And even though failure is not an option, and we're not going to bring it into our thinking even for a moment, if it helps to put your mind at rest, if the worst comes to the worst and you just get brain freeze on the day and you forget everything, again, we can make alternative arrangements for you. So you won't have to wait another year to sit the exam, is what I'm saying. So look, if the worst does come to the worst, we let you know fairly soon. We tend to turn the results around fairly quickly. Now, fairly quickly in our book and your book might be two different things. I'm looking at, Paul, it's usually about 2 weeks, isn't it, after the exam? So by the time we
Yeah.
get the papers
Yep.
in, get them corrected, graded, then there's a whole pile of work sort of linking the exam results with the assignments results with the short test results. And then they go for, adjudication then because the institutes want to make sure that we're maintaining the standards. So, the whole process can take about 2 weeks. So certainly, if we're looking at you know, the exam on the 25th, I would be aiming to have the results out by the 7th of February. So we're not going to leave you waiting for weeks and months. So around the 7th of February, you should be getting your results. And if you're qualifying, then the invitation to the graduation ceremony. And that's that. So today, what we're going to do is we're just going to focus on, we start with the mock exam. Now, hopefully you had a chance of doing it. If you did, well and good. If you didn't, that's fine too. We'll explain to you the kind of standard of answers. Now, a few things that I do want to point out to you. Number one, copy and pasting a whole set of notes is not going to get you marks. And hopefully the questions are framed in such a way that will not permit you to do that. So copying and pasting a whole set of notes, that's not what the exam is about. It's about demonstrating your understanding of the concepts. That's really what it's all about. So that's that. And the other thing that always causes us grief as well, and I think in fairness, Paul, I think it's only happened twice where two people submitted the same paper you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So look, do you talk to each other? Yes. Do you work together? Yes. Do you submit the same paper? No. So that's that. So and look, we are tuned in and clever enough, to know that's familiar, and particularly if it's wrong, and it's both equally wrong and the same words and all the rest. So I think if that happens, that's no marks for both. Isn't that the way that works?
Yep.
Just to let you know. So if two people submit the same paper, then I because we don't get into she copied from me or I copied from him or whatever the case may be. Look, if you submit the same paper, it's no marks for both, and that's how. That's anyway. Hopefully that will not be an issue, but I just want to say that as well. So that is hopefully an understanding of what's going to happen now. From today, I hope we'll be able to point you in the right direction. So in terms of revising and studying, Paul would give you say, look, focus on that area. Don't worry about that area. That's not going to be in the exam or whatever the case may be. So focus on the areas. And when you sit down to do the exam, and no matter whether it's credit management or risk, start with the question you find easiest. That's the very best place to start because that will build your confidence. Okay, so whatever question you find easiest, start with that and then work through. The other bit of advice that I will give you, um, and it might sound very obvious, and hopefully it does, it's this: read the question. You know, my favorite, my terrifying thing. It happened a number of years ago, and I've never ever forgotten it. Um, and it was in credit management. And the question was, we thought, very simple question. I think it was, what are the benefits of having a credit policy? And one student wrote the most fantastic paper on credit policies, on what they were and what they did and what they should contain. And it was just the best body of work I have ever seen. And they obviously knew their stuff. And I was sitting there the whole time going, please give me a benefit. If you do not give me a benefit, I can't give you a mark. And I read this wonderful paper, very, very knowledgeable. And because the question asked for a benefit and they didn't give any benefits, do you understand what I'm saying? So on that basis, just make sure that you read the question carefully, particularly the verb in the question will give you the instruction. There's no trick questions. We're not here to trip you up. That is that. So just read the verb and just know. And if it says list, if it says draw up, if it says whatever the instruction is, just make sure that you follow the instructions. And, you know, like again, going on to put the other thing that I think is very important as well is that the exam is based on the notes you are given. Okay. So if you type the question into ChatGPT and come up with a better answer than the notes, we will know that too. And we even know what the language of ChatGPT is as well. So, just in terms of the marks, so it's about understanding the notes, reading the notes, and the exam is based on the material that you have received. So just to be aware of that as well. And of course you can have your notes open. Of course you can refer to it. Of course you can interpret it and all that kinds of stuff. And that's a matter for yourselves. So hopefully we've clarified everything in terms of what is going to happen. I'm certainly open to any questions you may have. And Paul, if there's anything that I have left out, can you let me know?
Yep, no, don't think so, Declan. No, that sounds good. I've got a quick summary at the end, just a couple of reminders. So most of it will be repeated though. So you covered pretty much all of what I was going to say. Yep.
That is grand. Okay, well, there's no harm in repeating and let it
Yeah.
sink in. So that is the first section, which is the introduction. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop the recording.